I don't really know now, or I mean, nothing really comes to mind. But it's, I mean, just a lot of like action and like doing reckless decisions, you know, or whatever. Or it can be like, you know, where you walking around in the city or something, you know, and a tram comes, you know, and then it's like just before it passes, like you decide to like jump in front and over to get to the other side. I'm just a subject. I mean, I guess the first time was when I was, I think, 18 or 19, something like that. And it was just because my twin brother was diagnosed first. And then they like suspected that I have it as well. But it was the first time I had like a manic phase. That's when they realized, like, okay, it's probably bipolar disorder. I mean, something that happens a lot is that people like mistake it for something else. They're like, oh, okay, it's like, I know this is like, you know, and then, I mean, they explain a completely different thing. Or that also happens a lot, that people take up like an example, and I mean, it's usually not so flattering ones, you know. It could be anything from like, oh yeah, okay, I know, yeah, I mean, yeah, I had like a aunt who was, I mean, she was insane, like super crazy, she had this, you know. And I mean, that is obviously not the thing that you want to hear. Or some other people, like, I think they're trying to be kind, you know, or something, but and then they would say something along the line like, yeah, okay, but I mean, yeah, that's weird, because I mean, I've known you for this and this long, and I mean, you seem pretty normal to me, you know. I mean, that is all. I still get that it's, I don't know, maybe from their perspective it's more the kind thing to say, but I mean, personally, of course, I don't really like it that much, because I mean, it would imply that, okay, that someone that has this shouldn't be normal, you know, or act normal. Like when you feel very depressed, very down, you know, and like then it's like, oh, but this, I don't. You're doing things, but you don't really like what you're doing, anyways. So then it kind of gets, you know, harder and harder to motivate yourself to do things that makes you feel happy again. I saw a light fade from the sky. On the wind I heard a sigh as the snowflakes cover my fallen brothers. I will say this last goodbye. If I ever thought that the mental hospitals here in Sweden were a bad experience, you know, or, you know, whatever, compared to that, like, what happened to me in Hungary was like, you know, something picked out of a horror movie, you know, like, it's literally the worst experience in my life, you know. A lot of rules you have here in Sweden that you don't have in Hungary, you know, like, I don't know, I was tied to my bed for like, I don't know, 15 hours straight, you know, and stuff like that. And that you can't do that here in Sweden, you know. Or like scenarios when you're tied to your bed, you can't move, you've been tied to your bed all day long, and you're like, you know, you're getting almost like claustrophobia, you know, like, and you're in this very bad place, and I mean you're screaming, you want help, you want to get out of there, it's the middle of the night. Then this other, you know, person who has some issues and stuff, you know, like you're in the same room, he wants to sleep, he comes over and starts choking you, like, you know, he wants to kill you and stuff like that. I mean, things like that would never happen here.
The night is now falling, and so ends this day. The road is now calling, and I must away over.
Manic phase. I guess the easiest way to say it is like that it's the opposite of depression. Like if you think of depression, like this is the opposite way that you feel. Like you can feel euphoric, you know. And in the beginning it's a good feeling because you feel like everything is working better, you have a lot of energy, you have a lot of ideas, you want to do a lot of stuff. But after a while, especially when you're not sleeping that well, because I mean you're so excited all the time, that's when it's getting bad, because like your brain is like starting to shut down a little bit. So you still have this energy, you still want to do all these things, but your brain is like falling behind, you know. And especially that's in the end, like usually, not always, but the end product of that phase can be that you get a psychosis, you know, like more or less your brain really starts to shut down.
And as time goes by, I'm getting more and more cautiously optimistic, because I tend to identify the manic phases earlier, and I with every time I have more and more knowledge about it, and I can like prevent it. I mean, not entirely, but like make the best out of those situations when they happen now. But still, I mean, or I can sometimes think about or dread the day, you know, when it's like, okay, I get it, I've done like sort of best, you know, to stop manic phase. It still comes on, and you know, I do something, you know, insanely stupid, you know, or you know, whatever. I'm driving, you know, and just like drive off the road or whatever, you know. Like I still have that in the back of my mind, like, you know. And also I'm thinking like, most probably, I mean, if something is gonna get me killed, it's most probably like these manic phases. Like I don't think it's gonna be I'm gonna be robbed, or you know, from sickness or whatever. I'm fairly sure that it's going to be because of a manic phase. So, and that is, I mean, of course, a bit depressing when you think about it, because it's like it's something that's happening in your own mind, and something, you know, that more or less is happening within you, and that is like the thing that I hate the most, you know. Like there's nothing I hate more than having these manic phases, and also been, you know, in a way cursed with having this disorder. And all my dogs are sleeping in the sofa, and they're singing back to me because Fia. You know, everything goes up and down for all humans. You know, sometimes you are more happy or less, you know, more sad or whatever. But for bipolar disorder, it's so weird also to like be thinking of that. Like, okay, am I two, or you have to like ask these questions of yourself. Like, okay, I mean, I'm sad or something, but is it normal sad or is it too much? And also, which is much more strange, the other way around. Like I said, like if you're too happy, you know, like asking yourself that question, and also what that does to you, like especially in the beginning, you know, where it's like, you know, or you have like a super good day or something, you know, you hang out with some friends, you did some funny stuff and whatever, and then you come home at night and be like, try to force yourself, like, or to think like, yeah, but okay, wasn't that great of a day, blah blah blah, you know, just because like you don't want to be too happy. That is a very strange concept, because I don't think a lot of people that, for example, don't have this disease, like they never have to ask that question of themselves, you know, like, am I too happy? Okay. Good luck.